Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Special Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. Joining me is Bossman himself, the one, the only, Mr. Corey Garrett.
Wow, Ed, you sound wonderful this evening.
I sound spooktacular. Oh goodness, low energy, everybody. For me, I'll tell you guys later. But joining us is the talented TikToker herself, Mr. Courtney Woods.
Hey guys. For a
Whoop.
split second, I thought you said smash or pass, and I was like,
Oh,
cool.
That sounds like an
Wait a
After Dark
minute.
topic.
exactly. So everybody, so when you're watching this, right after we recorded Nintendo Power Block, I lost my voice, and I wasn't sounding good at all. I was feeling okay, but just wasn't having a voice. I kind of slowly been getting my voice back, but I've been having some extreme coughs and everything. So I'm getting better, but it's going to take time. So I do apologize for if my energy is slow. I'm trying to keep my voice and vocal tonality a little bit low, but we still got an exciting show for everybody. But before we get into the show, Corey, we got some Patreon producers to shout out. So let's shout them out.
Yeah. So Ed tried to convince me to host tonight, and I was actually going to. I was just waiting for him to tell me to go, but then he started. So, whoops. Sorry, Ed.
I love you, Corey.
Anyways, if you want to support Nintendo Power Block and Expansion Pass, you can head over to Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushNetwork, where you can support your favorite creators directly, including us. At the $1 tier, you get early access to 5 separate shows. 5 shows, everybody, including this one, Boss Rush Podcast, After Dark, Talk the Walk, and 1v1. But also, you can subscribe to the $5 tier, which grants you a Patreon producer credit. What does that mean? It means you get early access plus a shout out on this here program. So, without further ado, our Patreon producers for this episode of Power Block Expansion Pass are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons. And I want to thank all of our free listeners. Remember, all of our content remains free. We just provide some perks for you to support us. And it's very helpful and it's very nice. If you are a free listener, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching us there, hit the bell, leave a comment, like the video, tell your friends, post it on Twitter. I don't care. Do something with it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps us out. And you can also watch the show on bossrush.net. So, yeah,
Yes.
Those are our patrons.
Woo!
Ed, would you like me to announce the topic tonight to save your voice since you introed the show?
Well, before you get into that, Corey,
Oh, boy. Here we go.
everybody, I know we are getting close to the end of the month of of October. Oh, good, googly woogly. Of October. And we got a great topic that I'm going to put into Corey's hands. And in case if you see this after, Halloween or anything, the games that we're going to be talking about, we still, recommend that you guys check out and play or even watch a Let's Play or anything, because we're going to have a great discussion of some of our games on our personal list and everything. So Corey, go ahead, take it away.
All right, so to celebrate the spooky season of Halloween, or late fall, if you're not a trick or treater or a horror fan, each of us have picked 5 spooky games, or we'll say Halloween themed games that you can play on Nintendo consoles that are fun. Some of them not necessarily spooky, but also some of them are spooky. Yeah, so we each brought 5, and we're going to tell you which 5 of our favorite spooky games are part of this list. It's going to be a good time. I bet there's a lot of different games, and I bet Ed has Friday the 13th for NES on his list. Straight up guess, probably not. Maybe. Maybe. It's a hot maybe, as we say at work. A hot maybe.
I will say it's an honorable mention.
Oh, no. See, it is on
Ooh.
his list. I don't have any honorable mentions, though.
Yeah, I think before we started this, he was like, I have like 15 games. I was like, weren't we only supposed to pick 5?
Yeah, but, it's
He's
all right.
prepared.
He is.
I have a problem when it comes to lists. I try to list.
Look, I
and
tell
Courtney knows
Ed
this.
we're going to do a top 10 list. He comes with like 47 games.
Because it's really hard to make it's really hard for me to make a list because of so many great games, and sometimes I end up feeling bad that there are games that I leave off. So what I've been trying to do with my list is I've been trying to bring games that no one would think of and stuff. I try to challenge myself, but sometimes it's just like I gotta put these games on here because they're just so good, and I don't want to be boring or anything. But the a listing is kind of hard for me. So I'm hopefully the games that I have on my list is different from everybody else's. I'm
Fingers
sorry,
crossed.
Corey. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't even remember what you interrupted, so it's fine.
Oh, just me and my list.
Mm.
Okay.
Man, Ed, you need to take one of them waters and just chug it.
I have a water. I have my Robitussin and everything. I know I'm drinking Mountain Dew, everybody, but it's flat.
Mm.
You better trash it and drink some water.
It's fine. Look, it's all good. We're all good here. Now we're all fine. We're all fine.
Yeah.
How are you? As Han Solo would say. Well, let's get into these lists. Courty, we're gonna go your way first. What's the first game on your list?
I got like a little list up here, but my first pick would be Hello Neighbor. Nothing's creepier than a suburbial, especially when your neighbor is out to get you. This family-friendly game has you working to outwit an AI or owl who learned tactics and evolved his strategies based on your actions. You'll employ stealth and interaction with your environment to get away safely.
Hmm. That's a creepy game. I don't like it.
It is. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's very creepy.
Nope. Pass.
Pass. Okay.
Which is funny because I don't like scary games, but I have a few games on my list that are celebratory of the Halloween season.
Yeah, I felt like I just had to at least put one scary game in there, Just
That's
one.
fair. I have two pretty creepy games on my list. I tried to avoid games that I knew Ed would pick too. Although this game is probably on his list, but it's fine. This game on my list is Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube.
I knew
Not
you
on
were
my
gonna
list.
say it.
It's very it's not very spooky, but it is a haunted mansion theme game where you're hunting ghosts, and it's very fun and funny and quirky, and it's just I like that series a lot. That first game reminds me of just getting my GameCube and playing it, and yeah, it's Luigi's Mansion is such a fun, just quirky game, and I'm glad that we got Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch. It's
Oh, absolutely.
you know what's terrifying about that game? Toad driving a bus. Okay, that's
That's the most hilarious thing. I think I made Luigi's Mansion my like #1 game of the year like nomination 5 minutes into the game because of that. I was just like, this is game of the year right there.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
beginning part of it.
yeah. So Luigi's Mansion is my first pick. I love the vacuum cleaner Ghostbusters effect that you do. I love the twist, like the kind of the villain twist at the end of the first game, which is kind of funny. I don't know. Should I spoil the ending of Luigi's Mansion 1 22 years
Do
ago?
it.
where
There's a
instead,
playthrough.
well, you pretty much are about to fight Bowser on the roof, and you find out that it's like not really Bowser, it's King Boo inside of a Bowser suit, and it's really funny. Uh, so yeah, and then like they encourage you to keep replaying the game because the more money you collect, the bigger mansion you can get at the end, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of how they encourage you to keep, playing.
The replay value.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny. And then when you go down in the basement for the first time, you see like Mario's trapped in a painting. It's also good stuff. So that's my first game. Eddie V, what is your
Yes.
first game?
So my first game is Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Mm,
And this is the eighth game in the Ghosts and Goblins series on Nintendo Switch. They should say uh the Game Awards. And yes, it is hard, but I love the way that you have to just attack the zombies and they could come from anywhere. Like, and definitely, you getting knocked out, you still in your shorts. And then when you get knocked again, you turn into balls. It's very difficult. But I just love this kind of hard horror thing. Especially when you have Death running at you with his little weapon and everything. And you're hitting it and it looks so funny and everything. But yeah, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, and the artwork is superb in this game. I really love the cover art of this game, and everything. And it feels good when I get killed in this game because it makes one
Uh-oh.
of once. It's oh, did I freeze?
yes.
Just a little.
Hey Ed, can you move your mic away from your mouth a little bit too? It just
Is this it?
yeah, you're just when you breathe like it's going into the microphone.
And then sorry about that.
Nope.
Um,
No, sorry.
uh, it's such a great game, and I just love the challenge in this and everything. It's seeing King Arthur just hitting all these different enemies in the design. Yeah, it's one of my favorite spooky games. So Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Awesome.
Courty, you're up again.
All right, my number 2 is The Night in the Woods. It isn't a horror game per se, but you'll find plenty of dark elements throughout the story, an essential part of the plot, even when taking place on Halloween, so that it ties in nicely. Don't let cute animals design fool you. This game is oddly realistic, hilarious, sarcastic, and more relatable than most other games out there. I think it's funny because she's like, the main character is like a college dropout with
Yeah.
a dark past, and she returns home to her depressing hometown to rekindle friendships she's left behind. So you got to
This
go
is the
through
one.
like the
This is
whole
the one with the
process.
cats, right?
Yeah. I love
It's
the
on my
artwork
list.
in it. The artwork is
Yes.
like, just like the ideas of it. It kind of reminds me of Soul, the Disney movie Soul, with
Mhm.
how like they
Mhm.
created the teachers. I don't know what they're called now. Like the beginning part where they're all like little coat hanger wires, pretty much.
Mm.
Just like the style of that. That's what Night of the Woods kind of feeds off for me for.
It's it's on my list to get. I've been reading a lot about it, and every time I see it, I'm like, do I go and get it?
You
So
you
I
have
definitely
to.
will have to check it out.
Cool. My second game is actually the first Resident Evil game, the remake of Resident Evil 1. It's definitely not super scary, but it is atmospheric and it is kind of where the survival horror genre kind of a lot of people point to that game as being like the first really true survival horror game, and the fact that it actually created the genre because this is welcome to the survival horror in the beginning of the game. But that game, like the haunted house aspect and like the limited ammo and the zombies just kind of walking around, and then later on you have like the Crimson Heads walking around, and there's a shark in the basement. and then you get the dogs that don't jump through the window like in the original game, but then they're in the hallway when you come back around. That's super scary. That game is really cool. I think that game does a lot of interesting things. I actually wish it would get another remake in the vein of Resident Evil 2 and 3, because I think that would make it that much better. But those remakes are pretty decent. The remake of 1 and then Resident Evil 0 both are pretty. They're pretty good versions of those games, and Resident Evil is just iconic, and it's on Switch, so play it. It's cool. I'm also a big fan of the Jill sandwich joke.
You was almost a Jill sandwich.
That's not how they say it in the remake, though. The delivery in the remake's a little less enthusiastic. It's more of a, man, that almost crushed you into a sandwich. I was like, that's not.
Oh wow!
Look, I like Barry as much as the next guy, right? But that delivery is not as good as the original.
I was working at Six Flags, and I actually picked up my check and went to Montgomery Rewards to go buy Resident Evil. Because I've never seen how the game looked, never heard of it, but it was something for Capcom.
Yeah.
So I went to my local mall and got it and everything.
How long do you think until we get a Dino Crisis remake?
I think by next
Forever.
year.
Just because, I think Resident Evil seems so successful, and I don't know, dinosaurs are still cool, I think, right? I don't know.
I think it depends on that exoskeleton game with the dinos. That's coming out for PlayStation 4,
that weird.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah. What's it called? It's I forget what it's called.
But not exoskeleton. It's exo
No.
something. I think
Exoprimal is what it's called.
Okay, Exoprimal. I think if that is successful, I could see Dino Crisis coming out. If Capcom was smart, I'd put Dino Crisis on Switch and see the money roll. People will buy that game. Because I never got to play the Dino Crisis series, so I would be interested in playing it. And now, there was 3 was Xbox, right?
3 was an Xbox exclusive, and very terrible because they're in space with fighting cyborg dinosaurs now, not just regular dinosaurs, but like a T-Rex with a laser eye. Ooh, how do we make dinosaurs scarier? Let's make them robots.
Can't be no worse than that Turok Evolution on GameCube. Oh, good googly movie, that mess of a game.
Speaking of Turok, that reboot they did on Xbox 360, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, it got a lot of 6s.
I like the idea of them rebooting Turok in that way today, but I don't know if they would. I actually see Turok being almost kind of like a Horizon a little bit. But instead of robot dinosaurs, I guess you're just hunting big, scary dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Ed, what's your next game? Woo!
So my next game is Aliens Isolation.
That's a spooky.
This game is way past spooky. You are on the ship, and of course the aliens are on there, but you don't have no weapons to fight back to. So you literally gotta hide and pay attention to where they at, because they come in different parts, and you got the robots also. So I know it came out on Xbox and it came out for PlayStation 4, I believe. But this is kind of like the definitive version. People couldn't believe that this game was able to be done on Nintendo Switch. But people who play it, it would give you a heart attack because it's so tense, and you gotta be aware of these aliens. It's not aliens, colonial marines. This is an actual aliens game that would just haunt you. And I think it did well in sales, and a lot of people want more of that. More of that, horror, not survival horror, but more of that survival and that sci-fi scariness. So Aliens Isolation, I say pick it up on Switch. It is such a good game, and it will really terrify you. Trust me.
Yeah, that game is scary. Pass. Also, Switch version, pretty good. I hear. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think Digital Foundry did a review for it. They said they were very impressed
Yeah.
with this game.
hmm Courty, what's your next game?
My third game is going to be Little Misfortune. Fortune?
What's this? What's
Hmm.
this? What is
So
this
it's
game you speak of?
basically, so this game that I speak of, it's an 8-year-old girl, who just is always like not a good kid, basically. She's always getting into something. So she's hearing like this voice, his name's Mr. Voice inside her head, and she's like, hey, like, or the voice is like, hey, get out, let's go outside, let's go explore, whatnot. And basically it's like your choices you make by being this 8-year-old girl. You can eat candy, you can slingshot, you can play little mini games, but any choice that you make, your actions pay a consequence. So she's basically just trying to get rid of her misfortune, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. It's fun, like the characteristics of it. Spoiler, in the beginning of it, she opens like the fortune tilt cracker, and it's like, "You're going to die today." Like that's just the beginning of it, and you're like, "Why? She's 8. She's just a
That's
baby."
that's terrifying.
Yeah, but she's super sarcastic, and like when she talks to Mr. Voice, who's inside her head, she's like, like, why are we doing this? We shouldn't be doing this. Or she'll break the fourth wall and talk to you, and you're like, I don't know how to help you.
The fact that it's called Mr. Voice,
Yeah,
little
yeah,
unsettling.
his name's Mr. Voice.
Hmm.
Very creepy, but it's fun. It's like it looks innocent, but I mean, it's not, but it is.
Yeah. Well, it's fair. My next game, Ed, you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this one, Ed. Are you ready?
Yes.
Zombies ate my neighbors for the
I had it on
Super
my list
Nintendo.
just in case.
Uh,
The, the collection came out, right?
mhm.
Was it the one with? Okay.
It's what Zombies Ate My Neighbors and then Ghoul Patrol, which now they're trying to
Yes,
pass off as the Zombies Ate My Neighbors sequel. Is that? I don't
it
think.
is.
I don't think so. I think that's
So
revisionist
what?
history.
So no, it is. Ghoul Patrol is the second Zombie Ate My Neighbor. Somehow Lucas Games lost the name. I think a different developer picked it up and made the game because it still features the two protagonists, the guy and the girl from the first game. But they couldn't use Zombie Ate My Neighbor. Instead, had to use Ghoul Patrol because Konami didn't do the second game.
Mm. Well,
It's a very weird history.
anyways, if you haven't played Zombies Ate My Neighbors, it is so the collection I think is actually on sale right now. I think it's only like
Mm.
I think it's like $8 or $9 right now for both games. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is really cool. I really love the like the football field level. It's pretty fun. I like you're just there. You can pick between two characters, or you can play co-op, which is also super cool. Uh, where you're playing this boy and this girl, and you just kind of go around and I don't know, kill zombies and have fun and do like
Seek in something.
yeah, it's fun. I recommend playing that game. It is super fun. Uh, I was
So, can I speak about it, Corey?
Go ahead,
Zombie Ate My
Ed.
Neighbors.
Do
You
it.
speak your
Uh,
words.
so Zombie Ate My Neighbors. You're kind of playing through all of these B movie horrors. So you got like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Uh-oh. Well, this one's longer than
Did
I
I finish the game?
expected. Oh,
Yeah,
there you are.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, everybody. Um, you
he
got all
says
of
that.
these. You'll fight against aliens, zombies, um, little like dials with axes way to cut you and stuff. And you'll fight like in a backyard, on a football field, in a shopping mall. Um, and you use kind of like your main weapon is a water gun. But you can also get potions which will turn you into a monster and hit other people. What you got to do is you got to save different people before they get killed by these monsters. So you'll see their spirit go up and they'll have this horrid scream. They'll be like ah and everything when they get killed. And the game is over until you lose all your lives or all the enemies. I mean, all the people that you were supposed to save are killed and everything. Um, the thing about it is, it has a continue system, but only through password. If you get to a certain point and you write down the password, when you restart the game with that password, you don't keep all the weapons that you collected. You start back with the water gun.
Mm.
Um, so your what I like is your grenades is just a 6 pack of soda. Is your grenades. There's a weed whacker that you can use to kill stuff on the ground and everything. Uh, they have cracks in where you can hit it with a missile to open up doors, or you'll have to find a key to get into it. There's health packs and everything. There's about 50 some levels in it. Uh, and I won't spoil the special level in the game. You would just have to pay to get it. But yeah, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This was a game by Konami that came out, and it has the hypnotizing do 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 do, and it's just so it's such a great game. So I'm sorry, Corey. Me and my friends used to rent this from Blockbuster and play it every Saturday.
You don't have to apologize to me. I'm glad you could speak better on it than I did because I had it for Sega Genesis and
Ah,
I played a lot of it by myself and I was never very
mhm.
good at it, but I just remember really liking it. You know.
Yeah, and everybody, the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo version is the same game. It's just the sound is different.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
Hmm.
yeah.
Something I'll definitely have to look for.
Do it. It's on Switch.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's on Switch.
It's kind of cozy.
I love cozy.
We Ed, what's your next game?
So this one may be a cop out slash controversial answer. So just bear with me, everybody. Super Mario Maker 2. And
Oh, that's not spooky. Get out of here
the
with that.
reason why I say it's spooky is because you can make spooky theme levels and send them out to your friends and everything. So uh, I don't know how controversial that is, but I really think that you can't. There are some levels that you could download from other people who have made some or watch them on YouTube, get that code and everything, and they have some really nice horror themed levels of playing. Of course, a lot of it is in a ghost house, and sometimes I have a ghost house theme with it. Corey sent me one of his levels, and it was Hades to get through. But
Get good, Ed. Get good.
I I got I got through
Ed yelled
both
at me for like
levels.
2 months because I'm not a Nintendo level developer. Sent him these levels.
I I got through his levels, and Corey just falling back laughing, having a good time because of the torture that I went through to get through this game.
Oh, it was so
Uh,
good though. It was awesome.
it was very creative and everything. I was just like, how the heck did you get through this? And that laugh that you just did, Corey, I could just see as evil as it was, I did resist. But you could share that with friends, making these horror theme or these psychological thriller style kind of levels in Super Mario Maker 2. It's so cool that people have that kind of creativity to put out. I feel like this is different than Minecraft in the sense, when it comes to playing a game and everything. Um,
Hmm.
Seeing that from a lot of people is what I thoroughly enjoy. So Super Mario Maker 2 is my number three.
It's cool.
Hmm. Not very spooky, Ed, but I guess we'll allow it since you just talked about it for 5 minutes.
Perfect.
And we need to fill podcast time. I'm just kidding. Courty, what's your next game?
All right, my number 4 is gonna be Don't Starve. It's a wilderness survival game full of science and magic. You play as a scientist who's been trapped by a demon and transported to a mysterious wilderness world. You must learn about the environment. You've got to figure out ways to, like, basically not starve, and not be in the dark because demons will come and get you. It's full of strange creatures, and a bunch of surprises. It's it's fun. It's strange.
They
That's gonna be my number 4, though.
they will get you. They
They
will. Get you.
will.
That game was really interesting when it came out. It was on what was it on? It was on PlayStation Plus. It was like one of the first free games when PlayStation 4 came out.
Hmm.
So that was cool. I just remember that game specifically being that. So
I remember being like super excited whenever I was like making it to day 10 and I had like everything I needed, but then my like PlayStation remote died and I was struggling to hurry up to like reconnect it real quick just so I couldn't die, but I ended up dying anyways.
not fast
Oh
enough.
no.
Not fast enough. Nope, it wasn't.
Ah, man. All right.
What about
So,
you? What's your number 4?
man, I'm struggling to figure out what I should put in this next slot.
I
So
already know mine.
anyways,
I was about to say it's so quiet.
my next game is actually Bayonetta 2, in which obviously Bayonetta is coming up. It's actually already out by the time you hear this, and Bayonetta 3 actually is out by the time you hear this. Bayonetta 2, Ed and I have a long history of talking about this game. Way back when we were talking about video games for the Wii U and trying to figure out if that game was ever going to come to Switch or not. And then Sega made all these big teases and stuff. That was a long stretch of episodes there. But Bayonetta 2, I think, is a really fun action game. It takes the idea of the original and makes it way better, way smoother experience. Bayonetta as a character is super fun and just over the top in all the best ways. So, Ed, I know that you're a huge Bayonetta fan as well. So, I'm actually quite excited to play 3. I'm excited to try out Viola, which is the new witch character. That's super. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Dante from Devil May Cry. Well, I would say DMC actually. Her levels seem super interesting and weird, kind of like DMC. So I'm really interested to see that. I'm interested to see how many Bayonettas are actually in this game because they've teased 4 or 5 of them at this point, versions of her. So yeah, that would be my number 4 here.
I remember when the Bayonetta 2 demo for Wii U came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that so because you only got like 15 tries. And people played it and they just I still have like about 7 saves still on my system, on my Wii U, even though I bought the game. Like people were worried because I remember Bayonetta 2 being so controversial that people were mad that it was coming to Wii U exclusive. But people played the demo and it was just like, oh, I'm buying this game. So that's why I thought when it came out for Wii U, it was very successful because it really had people saying this is game of the year. When the Sorry about that. When the actual game came out, um, and like to hear the numbers when it first came out, which I still thought was good and everything, and seeing how people are very interested in this game, definitely with Bayonetta 3 coming out, man, Bayonetta 2 just hit the spot right. And I told Courtney, when me and Corey was talking about it, I still feel like Bayonetta 2 was a game that really got Platinum a lot of recognition for other developers. Because
Hmm.
like yes, Activision did a lot of games with Platinum Games, but like really nobody was talking about Platinum Games for a long time since Bayonetta 2 came out. And then
Yeah.
you just start seeing all the work that they was coming out. Because you had Ninja Theory, you had Koei Tecmo, but Platinum Games was the action company for stylized games and everything.
Hmm.
Hmm.
No, someone did. I was watching Newswave today. Someone said a comment about Platinum Games saying that they're hot and cold, and it was just like they're hot when they make a Nintendo game, but they're cold with everything else. Because they was just like Babylon's Fall, you know how that turned out be a bad game. But then you see all the reviews for Bayonetta 3 with these nines and tens and stuff, and it's just like it's one of those things that I don't know how much interference or not interference, how much work Nintendo is helping with Platinum Games, but I know that their hands are got to be somewhere for their games to turn out when they come on when Nintendo is backing them up doing the budget and everything. And then when you play everything else that's non-Nintendo from Platinum Games, it's kind of hit and miss. Very worrisome.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, you know, I think I mean, look, if if the jump from Bayonetta 1 to Bayonetta 2 is any indication, Nintendo had a pretty heavy hand in it, right? I mean, that's how I feel.
mhm,
Nintendo uh when they're working with second party studios, right, like Mercury Steam with Metroid Dread, and obviously Platinum with Bayonetta 2 and Astral Chain, right? Like they are very hands on to make sure that their IP or their funded projects are well taken care of in terms of production
mhm,
and you know, so I mean, you could talk about anything else you want about their there's the controversies of them treating employees whatever, but like they when it comes to production of games, they know what they're doing. So,
yeah.
For sure.
Ed, what's your game?
So this is going to be a game that no one has heard of, but it is an actual game.
I bet I heard of it.
It's called Monster Party, and it was on the
Oh,
NES.
I've heard of
This was
Monster
from
Party.
Bandai. You do?
Yeah, I never played it, but I know Monster Party.
So, Monster Party is about this boy named Mark who was walking home from, I believe, a game or something or playing. He has a baseball bat and he runs into this monster who's kind of sad. And Mark asks him, "Hi, how are you? Who are you?" and stuff. And the monster is telling him that, you know, evil monsters on his planet has gotten out of control and he needs someone help to like get everything back in order. So uh he Mark says, well, I'll go help and everything. And so um the monster picks up Mark because he's like an eagle or something, and they merge together. So in the game you're hitting enemies with a bat, but at a point in time you can get a power up to change it to the monster and everything. You find different keys and everything. And I remember playing this game on the NES and everything.
Hmm.
It was a really cool game. I, sorry about that, everybody. I put it on here because it was just something that I remember back in the '90s that I played on my NES because my friend let me use it, and it always stuck with me to be like, man, why have I never heard of this game? And it just came to my mind when we were talking about spooky games. I'm like, there's got to be a game that no one has probably never heard or seen. So Monster Party came to my memory, and it's on my list. It's number 4.
It's awesome.
Cool. Courty, what's your last game?
Last game, let's go. I had to put this on my list. I was gonna put it as number 1, but I'm gonna put it as number 5. It's going to be Animal Crossing. I know I talk about it every podcast, but I absolutely love this game. Okay. They have a Jack's Halloween event. You get to collect candy, lollipops. You get to swap them out for Jack's costume or custom items. He gives you like his robe, or you get a pumpkin hat, or you can get like a picture frame with him on it. Like it's Halloween themed that he gives you. He gives you also, at least this year, it's showing for the 2022 event that's happening on the 31st. He gives you 5 different spooky exclusive set items by giving him candy. And you get to unlock 2 new Halloween reactions, which I'm very excited. So if you're like the type of person that, just can't go trick-or-treating, definitely get Animal Crossing because you can go trick-or-treating on the 31st. So
I give it up to the creators. They make some amazing Halloween themed islands and
they
houses.
do.
I'm like, how did you take the time to sit down and make this? And sometimes they be like, I'm just gonna redo this, and within a week they redo everything and it's better. I'm like, this is crazy, but it's so good.
It takes hours, but it's something I really want to do. I'm just not brave enough to do it yet. But I want to do that so badly. I want to demolish my whole island and then just like, it's called terraforming. I just want to terraform the whole thing. I'm ready for it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
it's not Easter,
you could
it's
have
Halloween.
you could have just said that you got chased by the giant Easter bunny, which is also a terrifying experience.
We'll wait till Easter so we could pick the top 5 Easter games. That will definitely be number 1.
We should do an Animal Crossing series, Courty, of you teaching me how to play Animal Crossing, because I was terrible at it for the first 10 hours I played, then I stopped. No, I put like 10 hours into Animal Crossing. I was trying to find all the fossils.
On my Switch alone, I've put, I think, about 1,200 hours in it.
Oh, jeez.
GameCube, I finished it.
Hey, you put that same amount about Destiny, so
I know, but
both games combined. Let's just say.
I know. I put more than that into Destiny.
I just get bored, but I love Animal Crossing so much. There's an Animal Crossing app on my phone called Pocket Camp. Hours. Just hours. I love it so much. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is a little game called Limbo. It's black and white 2D side-scrolling game with super creepy things that happen on your adventure, including giant bear traps, murder a spider, and impaling a little boy in these. It's just really scary. That game is super like it's an odd one, but I think it's one of those games that it's a classic in terms of in the indie space. It was one of the really kind of first high production Xbox Live Arcade games in like the 2010-ish. Those Limbo and Inside, its kind of pseudo sequel, are both available on Switch. They're actually on sale for like $3 a couple weeks ago, both of them.
Oh wow.
I was so disappointed with Inside.
I didn't play Inside. I only played Limbo, but Limbo is cool. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to play a fun side scroller. It's only about 3 or 4 hours long, if that. But it's still super cool, and the production values are high, and it's a really neat game. I never played Inside, but from all accounts, it's similar but different and very squishy at the end. That's all I heard. So
Yeah, that ending was disappointing. So,
your ending is disappointing. What's your last game?
so my last game is. Oh, I'm sorry. Um,
Uh-oh. Ed's
Oh,
coughing
oh, he's dying.
or rapping. I can't
uh,
tell.
oh wow. The Mummy Demastered is my
Mm,
fifth game.
that's a good
This is
game.
kind of style. Yes. It's style kind of in a Metrovania, and you're playing this army soldier who has to fight against this evil force. The big thing about this is that if you die, you play as a new soldier, and you got to find your old self, kill him to get your weapons back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it was a new take on that game. And it's so fun. It's very challenging. This was from way forward and everything. This is a game that probably the first game I would say that comes to mind that the licensed game was better than the movie itself. Normally licensed games are not up to snuff, I would say, when they are released. But this one, Way Forward was just playing around, thought it would be a nice joke, and they made a hit on their hand, with it. So, which is funny because they also made. I'm sorry, everybody. Um, Aliens Infestation for Nintendo DS.
Oh, wow.
Uh, have you heard of this game, Courtney?
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, where one of your characters are infested with an alien
Yeah.
and you don't know who it is. It was a big hit and everything. Corey, can I do a quick rundown of the games that I did have on my list?
Yeah, go
You're
ahead.
running up games.
So the games that I had on my list that I didn't mention, honorable mentions: Geist, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, Corey said Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol, and Friday the 13th. I put also Nightmare on Elm Street, because Nightmare on Elm Street is a really good, has a good soundtrack too, with it. Devil May Cry 3, Silent Hill Shattered Memories on Wii, and Night Slashers, which was an arcade game from Data East, where you're beating up zombies, and other haunted things. It was a game that was only, I think it was released in America, but I don't know where in America. So like it was brand new to me when I bought it on Switch. I know it was released in Japan. And there is a game called Ninja Kids where you are at the end fighting Satan. You got to fight these Satanists,
Hmm.
and you're like four different characters and everything. It's not on. It may Taito did the game. I think it's an arcade game on Nintendo. I would say, on Nintendo Switch. I have to go check to make sure, but I remember that being a big kind of horror game. Playing it because it's just like the '90s was kind of weird. I'm like Taito, letting people come in playing as kids, but you're fighting Satan. And when you look at the character art, you'd be like, "Oh my goodness," and everything. Trust me, when you take a look at the black people in this game, you're going to be like, "Oh, yeah." So, those are the games that I had on my list and everything. Do
That's
Hmm.
you guys
awesome.
have any additional ones or anything?
I think I had two additional ones. One's The Little Nightmares. I love that one. Like what are you? Like you're trapped in a dollhouse and you're trying to get away
Mhm.
from all the monsters. I love the first one and I like the second one. But then I have one that's not really scary, but it has voodoo dolls in it and like a love story. It Takes Two should definitely be a Halloween cozy Halloween challenge for like a two-player game. You're basically like these two parents that are trying to get a divorce, but like the daughter's pretty much like a witch, and so she made voodoo dolls out of y'all and basically cursed y'all, and y'all have to go through this talking book. And it takes two. One person has to do one thing, the other person has to do another for both of y'all to get through the video game. Um, But yeah, super creepy but fun at the same time.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, did you have any
Spooky.
ones? Any additional ones?
No, no. I made a
Okay.
list of 5, like I said in the chat, Ed.
Well, sometimes you might put extra on in case someone has
I
one of
know.
your games.
I'm just kidding. I just like to mess with you. It's fun.
Mhm.
Haha.
One of the spooky games that got me thinking is a non-Nintendo game was called Ghost House. That was on the Sega Master System, and you're this little boy who has this big fist punching things, and you got to your goal is to collect these jewels after you defeat Dracula. So Dracula
Wow.
is flying around and everything. Uh, so you can get a knife, uh, or and everything. And I think it's a lot of rounds to it and everything. But your goal is to collect these jewels to defeat Dracula and everything. But you only could get it when you're like actually beating him. It's
Hmm.
a very it's a, they had I think it was an arcade game, but I remember playing it on the Sega Master System because it was one of their cards that they have on there. Um, they also had Alien Syndrome on here. It's not connected to the Aliens games or anything, but you was in space and you have to rescue your crew members and everything. I know that was an arcade game also.
Hmm.
With it. So I remember Sega having some like horror games back in the day on their on like the Master System and arcade. Um, I can't really say anything on the Sega Genesis besides, of course, everybody gonna say Night Trap, but it's just like that Sega CD. I would probably say Snatcher is kind of has some kind of horror themes. From Konami when you put the code in and stuff, you see a guy's head twisted off and everything, and uh, it kind of gets like very creepy at sometimes in that game or Snatcher.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, with it. Uh, I know PlayStation One had some, but I just can't think anything else. That wasn't released from Capcom. There were some oral horror games because like Persona, uh, Shin Megami Tensei Revelations Persona, I think, or Revelations Persona. The first one, I know that was like a horror theme kind of game on PlayStation
What
One.
What do you think? What do you think are the most popular horror series out right now? Like in terms
It
of
has,
all systems, I
Probably
guess.
I
Friday the
think it's Resident
13th,
Evil.
Dead by Daylight.
Look at this streamer over here naming all the popular streaming games. It's an
I
interesting
mean,
perspective because we don't really have that perspective because we don't, you know what I mean? Like it's we call
mm,
ourselves enthusiasts and we try to keep up with everything, but there are just parts of this industry that we just do not know. And like, I don't understand the appeal of Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight or Phasmophobia or Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't understand the appeal of any of these things, you know, but like it has this
I,
whole
I
streaming culture around it and it's crazy.
I think it's to see like will these streamers get away from the killer? You know, will these four streamers get away from this one streamer who's playing the killer? I mean, that's for like Dead by Daylight, and Friday the 13th. I think like Friday Night at Freddy's, people probably just want to see how the person who's playing, how scared they're going to be. Because if they're new to it, they're gonna, that jump scare is the reaction that people are looking for and
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah, I feel like they're looking for that, but it's also more of an interaction thing instead of,
Hmm.
someone just watching someone play like a whole gameplay game through. They can actually go, hey, like, here's my little code. We can all play together if you want. And like, some people don't have friends. Me. And you just go through people's things and they go, hey, let's play. And you get to, create new friends and jump in the new communities. And I think that's the fun part and why people stream those.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I think that. I know there has been that one discussion, why people only play like why a lot of survival horror and horror games in general is only played in October and not throughout the year. Besides like Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th.
Which is
Yeah.
And I,
funny because
and
like
I,
the three biggest horror games are coming out in December, January, and March next year. With
that is
Yeah.
true.
like
And
I
I think
mean, Callisto Protocol. I know, like they're already talking about a sequel, which is insane. It's not even out yet. Wait, why don't you just wait to see if your game is any good before you start? I mean, look, by all accounts, I mean Glenn Schofield is a horror genius, right? I mean, Dead
mm,
Space is one of the most well-respected series of all time, right? But uh man, these games, man, that are like, I get that you want to go in and you want, like, if you don't go in planning that your game isn't going to be successful, then it's not going to be successful, right? You got to go in thinking that it's going to be successful, but also you got to like maybe temper expectations a little bit. But also, I guess if you have the resume that Glenn Schofield does, you can just kind of do whatever you want and be like, my game sells 3 copies. We're still making a sequel, so you can shove it up your.
Yeah, I feel like horror games should go off and do what movie theaters do, and they release the horror games in like the peak of horror, which is, Halloween,
mm.
just so that they can get like a better like scoop of people who are looking for those things. They're going to be looking for it in October. They're not going to be looking for it in, February,
Yeah, I kind of feel
April.
like
Yeah.
the only company that's releasing horror games semi regularly is Supermassive, right? With the
Hmm.
Dark Pictures anthology, right? And then they have that new
Yeah.
game. What just
The
came out? The
Quarry.
Quarry just came out in what,
Yeah.
August, I think. And so,
Yes.
like, I mean, there's not really anybody really releasing horror games regularly, anyway.
Because when
Yeah.
people now when people think of horror, you think of Bloober Team, but people think of Bloober Team now in more in a negative sense or kind of questionable sense. And I'm not talking about like the Silent Hill remake that's supposed to be coming. Kind of just like the medium came out and then that did what it needed to do. But then it was just like playing the stuff around Bloober Team and uh um Hideo Kojima and what they're doing with Konami and just making people suspicious, just like what are you guys doing and everything. It like I don't know, horror games as fun as they are, because you have games like BioShock that they would consider as a horror game, even though that's done in a different style and presentation. I just
Yeah.
kind of feel like horror games, I understand that there are key elements you got to have for it. Some combat, some puzzles, um, bad dialogue or cheap, like the writing and stuff. Like it got to be campy and cheesy and stuff to be enjoyable. But then it's just like, when is there going to be a horror game that's really going to have a lasting impression on you? That it really did something to really speak that, oh, this is the next evolution of survival horror. Because no disrespect to anybody who plays Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th and everything. Um, People are watching that with an expectation just to see something of, is the team going to make it or not? That's pretty much the basic everything. Are you going to get away, or everybody's going to get murdered and everything. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I think to me that doesn't bring enough, because if I'm watching it over and over with different streamers and it's kind of the same thing, what enjoyment am I going to get out of it from those games? I know it's not the streamer's fault. Is That's the way that the game is designed and everything. But uh, maybe that's just me and everything. I think that's why when it comes to Nintendo, that they make horror fun in a sense, or funny. Luigi's Mansion 3 and stuff, or even when Simon Belmont got announced for Smash. and you watch that trailer with Luigi and him getting hit by death and everything. Like it's so funny because I think Nintendo just like, yes, we can have horror themed levels in our games, but we have to make sure that it's fun.
Right.
I think that's why we look at Luigi's Mansion and everything. Like, I think I put a gif up. I was talking to Corey, putting a gif up where Luigi's about to read the book and then he falls asleep with the ghost dog and everything. Like that's kind of funny. But then you play like Yoshi's Crafted World and it has a horror themed level into it and the stuff. It is very creative and fun. Uh I remember playing Super Mario Brothers 3 and getting chased by the sun or getting chased by the boos. People still are scared of the mask in Super Mario Brothers 2 when you get that key.
It's
You
true.
know,
Masks are
like
scary.
like Nintendo could bring you that horror, but yet make it fun. Trust me, that that little thing, that thing in Legend of Zelda, is it Oracle? Is it not Twilight Princess? Uh, I think it's Oracle of Time. Not Oracle of Time. Goodness. Uh,
Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time.
Wow,
Goodness,
Ed.
I'm really off today. Ocarina of Time. When the thing gets up and it scares you and it freezes you,
Mm.
and then to have that big hand come out of
Are you
nowhere
talking
and
about
grab you.
Are you talking about the zombies in Castletown? Like when you're an adult?
Yes,
Or Smash Bros.
yes. Like it freezes you, and sometimes the hand that comes down and grabs you and takes you back to the like that stuff is scary because it's out of when it's not in your frame of view and it's off camera. That can literally scare the crap out of you,
Oh
and it's just
yeah.
like Nintendo. It's horror. You're supposed to have fun with this. Why did you do this to me? Like sometimes Nintendo will make you drop the controller. But most of the time when they do horror, it's supposed to be fun.
Mm. Yeah.
You know? Uh Corey, do you have your fun with Blue Stinger for
Mm.
Dreamcast?
Man, if they brought that to Switch and made an HD game, you would lose me for like maybe 30 minutes and realize, oh, this game sucks. Let's play a different game.
Who
Oh.
knows? I mean, they're doing different Nintendo 64 games, so Blue Stinger, I sense it will be coming.
Yeah, did you guys see Glover's coming back?
Yes.
That's weird. Because
I
we all
never got
asked
to
for
play
a
Glover.
Glover to come back. Just like
But I
KO
don't
the
think
kangaroo and all these other
tied to
Tasmanian
Tasmanian
tiger. What was the other one that just recently came out? Oh, didn't a Bubsy game come out recently again? Like another one?
yeah.
Like, oh my god, just get out of here.
I'm waiting for Whiplash to come out when
Oh.
you're that rabbit and some other kind of animal
Mm.
and stuff.
I'm waiting for an Arrow the Acrobat sequel. So.
Oh goodness. Oh, I thought it did get a sequel. Wasn't there like a 2 on Super Nintendo?
Probably. I didn't play it. I'm waiting for my Rocket Knight Adventure sequel.
A real sequel?
Yeah, a real sequel, not that trash fire that was the
Sparkster.
Xbox Live arcade version.
I mean, which I was wondering with Konami. Same thing with the Zombies Ate My Neighbor Ghoul Patrol. They had Rocket Knight Adventures. That's the first game. Sparkster is the second game. So they changed the name.
Yeah, and then the remake or the reimagining that kind of merges both games together on Xbox Live is just called Rocket Knight. That's all it's called, just Rocket Knight. So, yeah, that was cool.
I might have to look into that. Games that had their original name changed for the sequel, or just changed in general, because still like Soul Edge and Soul Calibur. I'm like, what the heck happened? Like, I never understood why that happened and everything. So, but any other horror games?
Nope.
Anybody?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay. Do you guys plan on playing any horror games this weekend?
No, I'm playing near
Before
Automata. That's what I'm playing.
or something?
I'm
Um,
playing Life is Strange and Genshin Impact
mm,
Hmm.
two scary
and
games
Animal
in their own.
Crossing.
3 scary games in their own right.
I am playing Alan Wake Remaster, which I hate this gameplay.
And why are you playing it? What's wrong with you?
Because
You don't have to play
because
everything, Ed.
I know that, but I'm like I brought it. I want to see it to the end, but like I come on, Remedy, y'all gotta fix this. Y'all gotta fix this gameplay. With it. Uh, but definitely gonna be playing Bayonetta 3. So by the time you guys see this or hear us on Nintendo Power Block, we'll be talking about the games that we've been playing over the weekend before Halloween, and stuff. Because November is going to be a packed month also. I know we're looking forward to Pokemon, Sonic Frontier, for our non-Nintendo players, God of War, and there's probably some more surprises that we don't know about. Nintendo is always gonna be like, hey, here's an indie direct. Here's some games that you guys can play. This is coming out now and stuff.
Right, like
Which
surprise.
yeah, do you guys see another Nintendo direct in December?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm ready for it.
Okay. All right.
Are
Well,
you
everybody,
ready or no?
I am. I honestly can say if they don't deliver anything at the Game Awards this year, Nintendo got a direct coming soon.
Ah,
Mm.
Yeah, because like after the Callisto Protocol, um, I don't. Man, I got to go back and check the last Nintendo Direct and see what they dropping in. There's another game that's dropping in December on Switch. I just got to see what it is. Um, but yeah, if they Nintendo don't show nothing for the Game Awards, they gotta have a direct coming. They have to end this year with some heat. For
sure.
2023. Because we already know the Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. We already know in April they gotta deep dive it or they gotta give us something. They're not gonna drop that game with us not knowing anything in May. Unless they delay it, and then that's going to cause a big discussion for E3.
Well, no sense in talking about E3 in October, Ed. It's too far
I was
away.
gonna say,
Too far away.
but with that, everybody, that's gonna be it for Nintendo Expansion Pass. Courtney, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch and TikTok, Courty_yikes.
Woo!
Yes. Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Courty HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on Palblock, on Boss Rush Podcast, and various other things around here on this here Boss Rush Network.
Woo.
You guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code, and other places here on Boss Rush and on our Discord. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. But
Uh-oh.
everybody, please have a safe Halloween. This upcoming Monday when you see this episode, or if you did have a great Halloween, share with us what kind of candy and snacks that you had. We definitely would love to hear it. Then everybody, we will see you next time on Nintendo Special Pass. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye. Have a good time.